Good afternoon and welcome to this afternoon's edition of NCAA Division III Men's Basketball. We are excited to share with you this matchup between the Cougars of Averett University and your Southern Virginia University Knights. This is Nicholas O'Connor, joined by Dawson Wiedrick. The Knights are coming off a good showing in their previous matchup, taking a win from the Eastern Mennonite University Royals. Dawson, tell us a bit about that matchup and what we should be looking for in today's game.
Absolutely. First and foremost, Nick, it's great to be here in the barn. Great to be here after, again, just a couple days ago, like you mentioned, the Knights came in here, season opener against the Royals, a team that's been always a very tough competition for them, and they had a stellar second half. I mean, they played the whole game pretty clean. In the entire 5 years that I've commentated for Southern Virginia Athletics, you come into opening day for basketball, you expect a lot of turnovers, a lot of sloppy play. We didn't see a lot of that. We saw a lot of clean basketball, a lot of great defense. And Karchner, you see here getting the jump ball, had 19 points and 10 rebounds in that game, 13 of those points coming in the first half. And Koa Baker, we saw his 28.9 rebound performance, really leading the way for the Knights here.
And so now we'll get these things started here. Knights possession to Baker out wide.
And you're already seeing Averett really keying on Baker on the outside.
Missed opportunity there.
I love the effort there from Karchner on that rebound. That's one thing we saw a lot of him in that previous game. And, you know, I go back to last year when Karchner first came to Southern Virginia as a freshman last year. You know, he always had an aggressive nature to him, but it was really getting comfortable, really being the guy in the paint. He's really being relied upon this year as the guy they're going to need to really be the muscle down low.
Ball will be brought out by Jordan Lewis and distributed quickly to Sellers. We're starting to see Sellers provide a lot of minutes here for the Averett squad.
Great steal there. Great defense down low.
Beautiful turnout over here, over to Weiland. Pass into Karchner.
What a pass.
And Karchner puts his first points of the game on the board.
Karchner doing a great job at sealing and making sure he gets the open lane. Easy pass for Baker that time.
Strong drive there from Jordan Lewis. Tossed it up to Noah Vale. Baker looking for a quick pass towards the center. A little too much juice on it.
A little bit too much. Baker needs to, spend a little less time on arm day on that one. But I love what they were going for there. They had the numbers. It was 3-on-1 opportunity. And, again, just a misplaced pass in that one.
Pros looking to pack on a few assists. Opportunity missed there. Green will take it up now for the Knights. Karchner from three. Catch the rim there.
Do not be fooled. He is very capable of knocking down that shot. You do not want to leave him open too often there.
Lewis getting his men into position, run the play he wants. Out wide now to Shaw, who will drive up the middle. Pass out wide to Lewis once more. Nothing doing there.
Great drive. Great roll.
A great drive there. Will sink the ball there for Lewis and get his team on the board.
And you asked what we can expect from these two teams. One thing you can really expect from Averett is to drive to the basket. We were talking before the game, Nick, that this team didn't shoot very many threes in their first game. In fact, they only shot less than double digits against Pfeiffer. Green there for that jumper. Great shot there. But what you can expect from Pfeiffer is that, of course, you'll expect him to take more shots from the outside, but you can expect him to attack the paint, attack the posts, and try to get Karchner and Olsen in foul trouble down low, because the Knights have a little bit of a size advantage down low, and if you can create those foul trouble situations and make it difficult for Southern Virginia to work with their post players, then you can be in business.
Well, yes, and certainly one of the strengths of the Knights from their previous matchup against Eastern Mennonite. Not only did they get to the line often, but they were quite effective from the line.
Indeed, over 75% from the free throw line, which, again, being the first game of the year, is incredibly hard to do. In-game free throws consistently like that. Baker, of course, being 100% from the free throw line. It's something you love to see as a coach.
Karchner thinking about going for three once again. Thinks better of it and passes it away. We saw a number of good rebound opportunities for Averett University on their last possession. Nothing coming of it. Green once more from outside.
The hustle from Olsen, I love it.
Olsen will come away with the rebound, and the Knights will get a try once more. Out to Baker.
You know, Baker's one of those guys where he was USA South Rookie of the Year last year and was just consistently a threat, mostly on the dribble drives and on the boards. But, you know, last game we talked about how he's adding more of that capability of shooting from the outside. And if he can hit those consistently, he is going to be a terror to deal with for opposing defenses.
Would seem that he was a terror as it was coming into last game. He put, 28 points on the board?
Indeed. And then, of course, you saw some great post play there from Jason Sellers II against Karchner, who I'm loving what I'm seeing from Karchner right now. He's very aggressive defensively, doing a great job of getting over screens.
Speaking of, I actually spoke to Karchner briefly. Good toss-up there by Olsen. Quick roll out and fade away. Lewis will bring the ball up once more. Yeah, as I was saying, I spoke to Karchner just briefly before the game, and he was saying that he was prepared to put up yet another double-double tonight.
Well, I think he's one of those guys that's good on a promise like that. You can tell Karchner's shocked by that call, but again, the Knights defense so far playing very aggressive, and I'm loving how much these refs are letting them play on the floor right now. You can oftentimes find games where refs will call anytime someone lays a finger on anybody. Not this time around. They're letting them have fun, and they're letting them play aggressive.
So they absolutely are, and I think that's a good part of the game. Obviously, you want to let these boys that go out there and get it done. Better that than stopping play over and over again.
That'll make a game last about 4 hours long, Nick. And that, I mean, as much as you love basketball, that's a little bit long even for me.
Anyway, the reason why I was saying that Karchner was looking to get a double-double again is, though we did not announce it at the end of last game, Karchner did tally up his 10th rebound of the game in the final 30 seconds of that match, putting him at a total of, 19 points and 10 rebounds?
Indeed. Again, he just had a fantastic opening game for the Knights. And in a game where, senior forward Malachi Olsen struggled a little bit getting points on the board, able to make up a bit of that difference. But don't be fooled, that could be a two-headed monster later on in the season. Olsen getting to the flow of things. A lot of players can sometimes work through some nerves at the beginning of the year. But once they get through that, they are more than fine. And Olsen is one of those players that once he gets rolling, he's hard to stop.
We will now see junior Bryce Shaw at the line. 6'3" guard out of Virginia Beach. He'll sink the first one without any issue.
And Phil Harris came on the floor for Southern Virginia. He provided a lot of great quality minutes for the Knights just a couple of days ago. And he didn't put up any shots, but a lot of great ball movement. Really good at making sure he maintained possession of the ball. Just a very good secure point guard to help facilitate your offense.
Now, making both of those free throws, definitely a good sign for Averett University here. Their free throw shooting percentage definitely was not where they wanted it to be last game, sitting under 40%.
Yeah, no, that's one of those games where the very next day, their coach, is going to have them go to practice and shoot about 100 free throws before they even begin any other drills because, like we were talking before the game, Nick, free throws in basketball, you live and die by them.
Olsen with some good distribution here. It'll go out wide to Weiland. Big three opportunity. Rebound pulled in by Olsen once more. DJ Green will drive in.
Great pump fake. Again, the Knights doing a great job on the board right now. Just not really able to capitalize that time.
And if the Knights can start getting some of those putback points, we'll start to be able to see them pull away just a little bit here.
Great hands. Able to sneak his way around and bounce it out on the baseline.
Absolutely. Koa Baker will come up now, direct his team. See if they can't get a play running out to Green.
They're leaving him all alone out there in ISO. Ooh.
Olsen batted away. see here if the foul is called on that. Plenty of contact.
I think they're just going to say that it was all ball and that it was out of bounds, which I don't agree with that one. I mean, there's a lot of contact on that shot. He was basically dragged to the ground. But, again, as the saying goes, the show must go on.
And Olsen will actually come off in favor of Luke DeVore. Another shot up there by Koa Baker, another Knight player on the ground.
Now, I'm not going to say this is exactly what happened here, but you have those plays that are kind of make-up calls, or maybe there's a missed call a couple plays before, and there's a little bit lesser of a obvious foul later on, and you call that. It sort of makes up for the previous missed call. So I think that's exactly what happened here.
I think that does happen more often than referees would like to admit in sports.
Absolutely. And again, we talked about Cole Baker from the free throw line against Eastern Mennonite. He is not one person you want to foul and get there, because he will make you pay for it.
And certainly against Eastern Mennonite, and now continuing into tonight, he has not missed a free throw yet. He is now 9 for 9 on the season.
Again, we've talked about that commentator curse all year long. That's hopefully it doesn't happen here. But he's good for it. He is good for it.
No, I trusted in my words not to be able to jinx Koa too much there. Good pass to the inside. Quick turn. Rebounded now by Baker.
Good advance.
Out wide to Weiland. Back into Baker now.
What a pass.
Beautiful pass into DeVore.
What's great there is that Baker had the mismatch against Jamison Graves. But then you saw the post number 35, DeMarcus Tucker crash down. Baker saw out of the corner of his eye and knew that DeVore would be open.
Well, the ball is dropped there and turned over to the Knights. Out to Baker wide, who will drive in. Beautiful layup opportunity. Seems that he has drawn a foul, and he'll be brought to the line once more.
And that is on DeMarcus Tucker, the same guy who was crashing down on the play before that Baker noticed and was able to kick it out. And so I imagine that their policy with Baker is that he is a guard, but he's got good size for a guard. You know, he's over 6'3", and probably around 6'4"-ish. We don't have his height listed here, but he's a guard with good size, and so if he decides to post up on the guard that's defending him, that creates a bad situation for you defensively. So that's going to draw a defender away from another player and leave somebody open somewhere along the line. And I'm sure that many teams are looking at that saying, hey, we need to double this guy, try to limit his productivity.
And we just witnessed Baker's first free throw miss of the season. Perhaps I did speak where I shouldn't. But he'll get right back to it and sink another one.
And that's the thing, is that if you're a good free throw shooter, even if you miss it, you bounce right back and you put it in. You practice those hundreds of times a day for a reason.
Lewis now out to Carter Jr. Out to Hodges now.
We also have Colin Griffith on the floor for the first time tonight.
Hodges with the good little floater. Pops out, but put back by Jason Sellers the second. See Colin Griffith now in the game. He'll distribute to DeVore. Baker once more will drive in with a nice little spin there. Can't find the net.
Olsen fighting for this shot.
Look to go up with it. Can't seem to sink it either. Baker in searching for the rebound. Seems to catch plenty of contact with other players. A foul will be called on him.
I think what they might be saying is that he maybe went over the back of someone, or maybe he had used his arm to create separation to get that rebound. It's kind of difficult to know what exactly happened there. But like you said, foul called on Koa. But I mean, so far right now for Southern Virginia, you have a solid start. You're not necessarily shooting anything really from outside except for a three from Baker, a 3-point attempt from Baker and Weiland as well.
Karchner took one early on.
He did take one as well. So you're not necessarily shooting well from the outside, but that was the story of the game for the game before against Eastern Mennonite. So the thing that's working for you is a tough play down low, getting offensive rebounds, giving yourself second chance opportunities. And so far, it's given them the 3-point lead.
Absolutely. And I think really what they, the story of the game from Eastern Mennonite was their ability not to just drive in, but the ability to draw the foul time and time again.
Yes.
29 opportunities from the free throw line in that game against the Royals.
And, you know, we talk about head coach Trace Bevel. We talk about the success that he has had both in coaching high school as well as college level. And any coach that knows a thing or two will tell you one of your main things you need to do is that if you can shoot well from the outside, that's great. If you can be like Steph Curry and make, 12 or 15 three-pointers in a night, that's great. But the thing that's going to make or break you is getting to the free throw line, drawing fouls, and winning the free throw battle, because those are the fundamentals that'll save you. And even if you're having a bad shooting night from the outside, let's say your bread and butter is shooting threes and you're not making them. If you're able to draw fouls, play aggressive, you can play against any team as far as matchups is concerned.
And now a second foul called against Cole Baker. And he will be pulled off the court for the time being.
Every now and then last year, Baker would struggle with foul trouble. And so I like the fact they're taking him out right now, give him a chance to really cool down and allow his teammates to get in there and do some good work.
And a beautiful shot from the outside by Jamison Graves.
He had 17 points in their game against Pfeiffer, so he is absolutely a capable scorer and shooter from the outside. Again, they weren't really able to showcase that a lot against Pfeiffer, but you don't want to let them get too comfortable.
Now out once more to Olsen, who looks for room or anyone to pass to here. Out to Green, who will drive in down the baseline. Quick little fadeaway will miss.
Harris, the second shortest player on the court, able to help the Knights recover the rebound. I mean, that just speaks volumes to effort, where you're positioning yourself. Because, yes, it helps if you're 6'5" and above in the rebounding battle. But 99.9% of the rebounding effort goes down to work ethic and just knowing where to be.
Phil Harris works so hard. Olsen going up with a strong move there, but ultimately can't come down with it. So Averett now with an opportunity. Good pass to the inside. Quick layup by Jason Sellers the second. Plenty of contact on that.
Very strong shot from Sellers the second. He had 13 points against Pfeiffer, along with 8 rebounds. Harris!
What a move out of Harris.
And that's the kind of shot he's looking for, able to find the open lane, nobody around, able to lay it up and in, and the Knights easily able to respond right back.
And you said it before, and I'll say it again. Harris may not be the tallest man on this court, but he is certainly putting in more effort. I mean, such athleticism out of him, such work ethic, and there he goes once more.
Gets it to DeVore. My goodness.
Strong pass up the court to DeVore once more. The layup opportunity sinks it in.
Beautiful cut to the basket and able to finish with the contact at the rim. I mean, Baker might be off before now as well as Karchner, but these freshmen, they're getting it done.
And DeVore already having a good game thus far. Perhaps we'll see some more out of him.
Calling a block. That's really close, because in order to draw a charge, you have to make sure your feet are secure on the floor. And it looked like Olsen had just gotten to where he was set in place, ready to take the charge, but I guess I didn't see it that way.
So they'll go ahead and give Olsen the foul, and we will see Jamison Graves at the line. Graves will now go up with it. And he will make that without any issue, which will now extend the score to 16-15 in favor of Averett University. Taking the lead now here in the first period. Green will pass in now to Olsen, outside to Weiland. Will take the field goal opportunity. Nothing doing here.
I'm really excited to see when a lot of these shots will start to fall for Weiland, because he's taken very wide shots that are open as that three is hit on the outside. But Weiland is a capable shooter, and the main thing about him is, I mentioned before, he's a workhorse. He will fight to get open. He will fight to play great defense. And I just really hope to see a lot of that work pay off in game.
Absolutely. And just so the fans at home are aware, we are certainly expecting a tight game all the way through today. Good layup opportunity by Weiland, but can't find the net on that one. Expecting to see a tight game all the way through today. The previous matchup between these two squads was a difference of only 2 points.
Indeed, this matchup historically has, unfortunately for Southern Virginia, been dominated by Averett University. 3 victories for the Cougars, 1 for Southern Virginia. But like you said, a very close contest last time around. The last time the Knights were able to win in this rivalry was on February 17th of 2022, and that was only by a margin of 6 points. So again, these two teams, they know how to battle, and they are very familiar with one another.
Another one from the line made by Averett University. Already doing much better from the line in this matchup than they were in the previous. Now, furthermore, in their last matchup, that I think it seems important to mention here, not only was the difference in the final score just a difference of 2 points, but Averett University was able to hold the Knights to only 1 field goal made in the final 4 minutes of play.
Yeah, and that's clutch defense right there. Speaking of clutch, it's a great shot from Olsen, getting himself going. But that's when you know that, I mean, when you're able to lock down a team, limit to 1 field goal in the final 4 minutes, I mean, my goodness, that just shows you're an elite defense right there. Speaking of elite defense, so close. Olsen knows it too. Smile at the ref saying, I know it was in the line.
This ball knocked away and out of the hands of Colton Price, but the Knights unable to capitalize on the loose ball.
But, you speak of, not being able to get more than 1 field goal in the last 4 minutes for Southern Virginia last time around. That's one thing that for a while, for a couple seasons, Southern Virginia struggled with, was closing out games. Figuring out how to take a game where it's neck and neck, to make the right plays, to make the right moves defensively, and to do everything you can to close out a basketball game. Last year, they started to figure that out a little bit more. They got more deeper into the USA South tournament than they had in years past. They were really able to come together a little bit more, and I expect even more progression like that under head coach Trace Bevel here in his first year at Southern Virginia.
Now, do you believe, Dawson, that part of Averett University's ability to stay strong to close out that game is due to Coach David Duino being with this team for 10 seasons? Like, is his chemistry built with this team? Does that have anything to do with that? I
mean, when you're at a university or a team or a program of any kind for 10 years, you develop some sort of consistency, right? You're there for a reason for that amount of time. There's a reason why they keep upping your contracts to have you as a head coach, And when you're there for a long time, the players know what you're talking about. So they buy into what you're saying. They buy into your game plan. They buy into, the slogans and whatever you give them at the beginning of the season. And when you get a team to buy in, you're able to believe in one another. And that's half the battle of closing out games, is believing you can.
And so he's been the basketball guy for the last 10 years there. Everybody in town knows it.
And, of course, they're looking to rebound last year after a 10-16 season, which is not a bad year by any stretch. But, of course, every basketball school holds higher standards for themselves.
And we will see Colin Griffith at the line once more, freshman out of Manassas Park, Virginia. And we'll make that one with ease. They'll reset now for his second opportunity.
And it's exactly as I said at the beginning of the game, that Averett is doing a great job of getting to the basket, drawing fouls, and in a way capitalizing on Southern Virginia's aggressive defense.
Now, I believe already, just in this first quarter of play, that Averett University has made more free throws than they did in the entirety of their previous matchup.
And you just know there was a couple of screaming lectures about free throws after that first game. And poor shooting continues to plague Southern Virginia. They really haven't been able to make anything outside of the paint so far tonight.
It's a good rebound there by Griffith. A couple of passes leading in. There'll be a foul now called on number 10, Emil Carter Jr.
Actually, they're saying it was on number 12, Jason Sellers, the second. Kai Olsen was playing defense on him, and Sellers was actually extending his arm and really pushing him out of the way to try to fight for positioning in the paint. I think it was a good call there.
Good three opportunity put up by Everett Leifson, but that will be denied and bounce out. Jordan Lewis with a athletic-looking pass to the outside, but stolen away. Green will charge down the field. Brought up short in the paint, but will put it up. Will not be denied.
Little up and under magic there from DJ Green. You know, this team was very, very excited to add him onto the roster. You know, the sophomore from McCall, Idaho. And he's played college ball for a year or two now, community college, and just very athletic. We saw a fantastic example of handles in the previous game, able to make defenders look silly, make them fall on the floor, and then get the assist to the outside. I believe it was to Weiland in the corner three. But again, a guy like that is something that can really bring your team together, especially with all the newcomers they have on this roster, 12 freshmen included in that.
And he will have come down with the rebound on the previous pass and distribute out to DeVore. Foul will be called on Jamil Carter. So DeVore will come to the line once again.
And you know, Southern Virginia may be down by 4 right now with about 6.5 left in this first half. But, you know, with how poorly Southern Virginia has shot in this first half, it makes you kind of feel with confidence because shooting slumps don't last forever, right? You can have, you know, halves where you don't shoot very well, then come back. You get more into a rhythm. You know, the shots start falling, and you keep taking quality shots. You start to build back yourself. And so I wouldn't be surprised if Southern Virginia fights back and starts shooting a little bit better as we near close to halftime or even after halftime is concluded.
And DeVore able to tighten that score up just a bit now. Now 23-21. Out wide to Bryson Bowman.
We got a really great battle down low between Sellers and Olsen.
Good three opportunity there. Missed by Bryce Shaw. But the Cougars will come up with it, but a foul will be drawn.
That was a good call. Bryce Shaw did take a hesitation step and traveled there. Great notice there from the refs.
That is correct travel call. We will now have the opportunity to see Jake Wilson come onto the court. He is a junior out of Riri, Idaho.
Also is one of those high-energy guys. He's a great guy on the bench and just talking to his teammates, and in practice, he always works extremely hard. He's got the ball here.
He'll hit it out wide to Harris. Back once more. He'll put it up, but cannot find the net here. A little bit of a tussle there for the ball. Both teams debating with the referee as to where it ought to go.
And I'm going to Southern Virginia. I do like the call because I do believe it touched one of the Averett players before it went out of bounds, and that's getting another chance. But they only have 5 seconds on the shot clock, so they have to have their best inbound play, get a really good, high-quality shot.
You got 5.
And so now Harris will take a look, see out to Leifson. Out to Green, has to put it up. Bounces off the back of the rim there. Leifson once more.
There we go.
And that will drop, no issue. Smooth like butter.
We're going to start singing BTS here in the barn.
If we have to, we have to.
Great shot there by Leifson. And, you know, again, I talked about having a great play on the inbound with 5 seconds on the shot clock. Able to get it to Green, who, speaking of which, has it again.
Drive up quickly, good pass into Harris. But Harris can't find the opportunity before he's swarmed upon. Out to Green. We'll take a quick little floater in field goal range. Puts that down without issue.
That mid-range jumper that Green has is so pretty to watch. Just rising up, graceful release. Him and Olsen have that in common. I mean, surprise, surprise. There's blood relative there. But they both have such beautiful shots.
That they do. Technique flawless. Puts that up, rolls right out. A quick in and out moment.
Again, great effort there from Harris to make that rebound as difficult as it could possibly be.
Green with some good handles. Move it out to Leifson, who once again sinks it from 3. We might have to start singing a little BTS here because once again, there is ice in that man's vein. He's turning it on right now.
Leifson, again, I talk about having a beautiful shot. That was absolutely fantastic. Back-to-back threes for him as far as back-to-back attempts. Getting caught with a little leg trip there.
And we see both a Knight and a Cougar on the floor. But foul will be called on Leifson nonetheless.
And so 6-point lead for Southern Virginia, and that's without Karchner or Olsen on the floor. You have Jake Wilson coming in there providing some opportunity for both Karchner and Olsen to get a little bit of a breather there on the floor. And then again, Leifson, when you have freshmen stepping up and providing high-quality plays like those 2 3-pointers from Leifson, everything else will fall into place because the older guys will see the young guys step it up. And if they're not playing the best of their ability, they're thinking, okay, you know what? The young guys are doing it. I want to get my stuff up to speed as well.
Absolutely, and I think there's a certain level or a point to which you come that you have to ride the hot hands.
Yes.
So I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Leifson see a few more minutes than normal in this game today.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You got to ride the hot hands. You got to figure out who is feeling it tonight. And right now, my top 3 that are really in a rhythm and playing incredible right now are DJ Green. You also Everett Leifson. And Phil Harris. Phil Harris, I mean, look at the effort that guy's putting in right now. I'm going to say it over and over and over again because it's just the truth. And Olsen defensively down low. He hasn't really been able to get, going scoring-wise. But I'm just watching his battle on the defensive end every single time he's down here on the right side of the floor. And it's awe-inspiring. The guy's a gladiator down there in the paint right now.
Well, as you were talking about Harris here, Harris is a type of guy that every single coach wants to have on their team. The effort that he puts in is good for the team come game time. It's good for the team during practice. He's the guy that coaches point to and say, this is what I want you to be doing.
That's exactly right. There's always that one guy on the team. Like, everybody works hard on a basketball team. You're always, you're running sprints and drills and scrimmages. So you work hard inherently. But there's always that one guy that stands out above the rest.
And Shaw missing his second free throw opportunity. He's been at the line quite a few times already in this game. But he'll have the ball now and distribute it out to Jordan Lewis.
Yeah, Green was trying to fight through the screen of Jim Lawrence there, getting a little too aggressive. And also credit to Lawrence for standing there recognizing that Green was coming in a little hot and just stopped and took the push.
And so that'll be his second foul called on him on the night. He'll be subbed out in favor of Weiland.
And no doubt a lot of the reason for that is just to get him to kind of calm down a little bit. He was a little heated after that foul call. Obviously a little frustrated, even though he's made a couple of shots so far today.
And now I've got listed number 20, Jem Lawrence from the line, able to sink both of his attempts. The Cougars able to get to the line quite a number of times already. And it is certainly helping them to keep the score tight. To Weiland. Leifland once more. Harris now looking to distribute once more, but it looks like the communication was not put together properly between Harris and DeVore there.
Yeah, DeVore, I think he saw Harris start to dribble up toward the top of the key, and so he thought, okay, well, I'm going to reposition, go down low, try to, post up. And Harris was trying to get rid of it. And like you said, just miscommunication there. And in that situation, again, if you're Harris, just dribble up to the top of the key, reset.
And so we will see the Cougars once more with opportunity. Good pass into the paint now. Put up and put back now by Jason Sellers II.
That was very close to being goaltending. In fact, Harris was standing there saying, hey, that might have been inside the rim when he touched it, which of course isn't allowed, but was very, very close. Trying to get the pick and roll here to Olsen.
Batted away, and now another good opportunity. But Shaw will take that outside quickly, but now Sellers the second in the paint.
Sellers is so strong and playing with a lot of confidence right now.
Well, there is a reason why Sellers leads the team in minutes.
Right. Again, a workhorse and down low. Again, he's making it difficult for Olsen to really do much of anything. And now one thing I would really like to see in this battle is Olsen, when he's gotten the ball at the top or in the high post here, he's turned and immediately looked for someone to pass it to. I'd like to see maybe try to make a move, dribble drive to the basket, try to make a move in that way. Now, that might be out of the sequence of the offense they're trying to run here, possibly. But if you can get him to make a move like that, really get him more in an offensive rhythm, because we really haven't been able to see him do much of anything shot-wise. He's had maybe 2 shots he hasn't been able to knock down. But again, Sellers is playing really strong right now, and it's making it very difficult. That's the type of player that'll wear down their defender really quickly.
Absolutely. Sellers definitely going to be a pivotal part of this team's play moving forward. Not just throughout the game, but throughout the rest of the season. Weiland now out to Leafland. Once more to Harris.
And you know, one thing that's surprising to me so far early in this one is the fact that Averett hasn't played any sort of full court press yet. I feel like that'd be very much beneficial to them as far as, you know, look at their athletes on the floor. They have a lot of speed and a lot of quickness, and they've shown that time and time again. DeVore helping out Olsen there.
Sellers denied for one of the first times tonight.
And again, DeVore recognizing that Olsen was having a little bit of trouble, crashed down and helped double team Sellers down low.
Now, if you go ahead and take a look at the stat totals from their previous game, Sellers had something like 13 points. In fact, that is exactly what it was, and a total of 8 rebounds. A lot of action down there in the paint for him. Such strength coming out of him consistently.
Smart play there from Graves, throwing it off of DeVore out of bounds. Make it to where it's Cougar possession.
And so we'll go ahead and see Leafland come off of the court in favor of Colin Griffith. Ball will come back into play. Jordan Lewis bringing it up the court.
Southern Virginia desperately needs a good stop right now and be able to get in transition. If they can get to where Averett can't get set up defensively, then maybe they can get a quick bucket, take back the lead.
So Harris will drive it up the court. Keeping in mind now that the Cougars have taken the lead. And we will see Griffith take a quick 3-point opportunity, but cannot find the net on that one. So the Cougars will have the ball once more.
I'm really impressed with the rebounding effort from Averett right now. They do a great job of crashing the board. It feels like anytime the ball, you know, either bounces off the rim, there's at least 3 Cougar players right in the vicinity ready to bring it down against maybe 1 or 2 Southern Virginia defenders.
And it would appear that Griffith did not get his feet planted in time. And so instead of getting the charging call, the foul was called against Griffith.
Yeah, and that's happened twice now. Olsen tried to take a charge earlier, and then Griffith that time unable to get the call called his way.
And so Sellers now with a free throw opportunity, and he will sink that as well. The Cougars having a great night from the line. Definitely coming out to show that their free throw percentage from last game was a fluke.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you're a college team and you shoot 45% from the free throw line, first and foremost, you're a college team, right? There's no way that's your consistent free throw percentage, or else you're going to have a lot of problems going down the road. In fact, you'd have a hard time winning any games at all with that kind of consistent free throw percentage. And so, like you said, coming out here and proving, hey, we can shoot a lot better than that. We just had an off night, which, again, in the sport of basketball, it happens, even to the best of them. I mean, there's even games where Steph Curry in the past has scored less than 15 points, believe it or not. Shocker, I know. But basketball is finicky like that. You can be the best shooter in the world and then still miss a ton of shots one game and then come back and basically make anything you put up the next. And it's one of those things where you have to have mental toughness. You have to battle through it, and Averett's showing they have the mental toughness to battle through that low percentage.
Yes, they certainly are. And to speak now to your point about Averett's consistency thus far, doing their glass cleaning, getting their rebounds. I would say that part of that, perhaps, now DeVore into Weiland, but stolen away. Part of that, perhaps, is that Southern Virginia's lead rebounders on this team, being Karchner and Baker, have not been on the court for very, very long.
Right, because earlier in this half, we saw that Baker got 2 really quick fouls in succession, and they want to make sure that he is not in foul trouble. And, you know, Baker not having a lot of production in the first half was very much a theme of the game against Eastern Mennonite. He only had 5 points going into halftime, and then came back storming with 23 in the second.
Harris into Olsen. Now back to Harris once more. Out to Weiland. They can't find a hole. But good spin move out of Harris. Not gaining any ground, but he will toss that up, and it will roll just over the rim and find plenty of net to get a few more points on the board for Southern Virginia University Knights.
Difficult jumper over top of Jameel Carter Jr. for Harris. I love it with the defender in his face, still able to have the concentration and knock it down.
Cougars maintaining the lead, however, 32-31. Three-point opportunity from number 10, Jameel Carter Jr., and that
they
will
got to
fall.
put it up now. Long shot.
That one will sail high over the backboard, but he had to take it from where he was. No other option.
Right, and so right now, like you said, Averett now with the lead, 35-31. If you're Southern Virginia, again, you're frustrated. You haven't been able to get the shots that you wanted. I mean, you have, of course, you know, Leifson been able to knock down a couple of threes. But outside of that, it's been a bit of a struggle offensively. You haven't been able to, you know, get past the tough defense that we've seen from players like Sellers, for instance, against Olsen and Karchner. We didn't see a whole lot of Karchner after the first couple of minutes in that first half either. And so a lot of things you got to adjust in the second half. You got to make sure you're getting back to the free throw line, because they kind of went away from that as the half went on. They weren't able to get to the free throw line as much, which is where a good chunk of their points came against Eastern Mennonite. And so if you can get to the free throw line, start knocking out some shots on the outside, really creating some open shots for yourself, then if you're Southern Virginia, you're not feeling too bad after this first half.
No, not at all. And I think there's still plenty of things to implement and change moving forward. Obviously, a couple of your star players not on the court for very long.
Right.
Which means you've got plenty of room to continue to implement those players in ways that Averett hasn't seen thus far.
Right. Absolutely. And again, just make sure you make those adjustments, and rebounding is a big thing. Averett getting a lot of second chance opportunities, and Averett also getting a lot of defensive rebounds, preventing Southern Virginia from getting second chances when they're not shooting as well. You know, and Averett really doing a great job of pushing it down the floor. Their post defense has just been stellar so far.
It absolutely has, and we've seen such strength out of their players, such ability, good passing out of them, excellent rebounding, as you've mentioned. And they've been able to put the three-pointers that they've taken, you know, they have put them down at a fair rate.
Yeah, and again, they're high-quality shots. They're open threes, and Southern Virginia has had less of those high-quality looks, and that's the main thing to look for in the second half. High-quality looks, better rebounding, that'll win you this game.
Absolutely it will.
Been absolutely fantastic. And another thing too, Southern Virginia is doing a great job of steals. 7 compared to Averett University's 1. But overall, you need a better job in the paint and defensive rebounds. Averett right now leads in that department. 12 defensive rebounds to Southern Virginia's 8. And when you get defensive rebounds, you shut down offensive possessions like that. You give yourself a chance to have an extra possession, and offensive rebounds as well. Overall, Southern Virginia just needs to be more physical in the paint and otherwise.
So, in summary, you're saying if you're Coach Bevel here and you've got to drive one thing into the heads of your players, it's physicality.
Physicality and getting to the free throw line. And now you saw they were shooting a little bit better from the outside in the previous game. You saw Leeson hit a couple of threes on the outside. You saw DJ Green get a little bit hot there for a moment. You know, as far as leaders in scoring, Green has 6, Leeson has 6 from the 2 3-pointers. DeVore with 6, Malachi Olson with 4. We don't have the usual suspects so far in, Karchner and Baker, who was subbed out early in the first half because of 2 fouls. They were very quickly acquired together. And so this second half, again, just being more physical and getting to that free throw line, and then you should see the difference in score get smaller and smaller.
Yes, and I imagine the plan is to now get Karchner and Baker a little bit more involved now coming into the second half.
And we do see Karchner on the floor. He was not on the floor for a lot of that first half. We saw Olson in there. We also saw Jake Wilson come in there and provide some good minutes as well. I would love to see more of both Karchner and Olson in there. And because, again, in the paint, that's where they're really struggling. When both Karchner and Olson have been on the floor, that's when the Knights' offense and defense has just functioned that much better.
And we are back to the traditional starting squad here for the Knights. So we see Koa Baker, DJ Green, Malachi Olson, Alex Weiland, and Tyler Karchner all out to play.
And as far as Averett is concerned, if you're in their locker room, you're thinking, hey, we did a great job being physical, especially with the play at number 12, Jason Solars II, doing a great job at making Olson frustrated at the paint. If we can see more of that, Averett could come out of here with a victory like that.
With 3 opportunity from out wide in the corner. Taken away, and now we see Green out to Weiland, drives in.
Good bait from the defense from Averett, allowing Weiland to come in and they crash in on him, nearly force a turnover.
That's out to Olson. Moment where he perhaps could have taken a 3, but the hesitation allowed the defenders to find him. Quick layup put up by Koa Baker. Beautifully done.
Again, the great pump fake there. Baker, his go-to moves, pump fake, drive to the basket. That is his trademark.
Now Shaw will look to drive in. No, instead a pass out wide.
They're going to say a moving screen here, I believe, on Bryce Shaw.
Fair enough, I suppose.
I think that's correct there. You got to make sure when you're setting a screen, you're not leaving too early for the pick and roll, and that's pretty much exactly what happened there.
Green here with some pressure on him. We'll kick it out to Olson. Once more to Green, and Karchner looking to get Olson on the baseline. A little too much on it to sail out.
And he had decent positioning there on Zach Shoemate. And so I like the idea from Karchner. It's just you got to lob it, give it a little bit more of an arch so it can go over top of the defender to Olson.
Now Shaw will allow his players to reset. Lewis looks to make a move and drive in. Catching some contact and able to put that up.
Off balance and everything. What a fantastic play there from Lewis.
He certainly was not allowed to walk right in.
Indeed, he was not. He also had a first half with limited scoring as well, compared to the previous game against Pfeiffer where he had 20.
Like, Green wanted to connect the pass to Karchner there.
Averett is doing such a great job at denying the passes to the post. That's really where they're succeeding right now.
A beautiful little move. Roll and put up by Zach Shoemate. Used his big body to his advantage. Now Green out to Baker. In once more to Karchner. will look to make a move.
Karchner kind of got bailed out there. He lost control of the ball and someone had swatted it out, but he got the contact on his left side, able to draw that foul.
And the line is where Karchner wants to live. He is happy as can be there. Made plenty of points from the line in the previous matchup.
They're discussing whether or not the foul was on the floor or whether Karchner was in the middle of shooting. I don't believe that he was because the ball, or his hands were right around his midsection. And so they end up making the right call here.
And so instead of seeing Karchner at the line, we'll have to get the ball put back into play now.
They had to reset the shot clock. Great deny defense. Oh!
Karchner going up for a dunk there, but lots of body on him and a definite foul. Looks like he was a little upset about it for a moment, quickly escorted away by his teammates.
I love what I just saw from both Alex Weiland and Kai Olsen. I love that. Alex Weiland saw that there was tempers there. He came in, made sure to escort Karchner out of the situation, say, okay, just calm down and calm down. And then Olsen went and talked to a defender and just gave him a little side hug saying, hey, we're all good. We know it was a basketball play. Just really making sure to de-escalate any emotions that would have built up from that. Fantastic.
And Karchner says, I'm going to go ahead and get the points anyway.
And that's an example of great leadership because it's one thing to be emotional about the game. You need emotions in order to succeed. But it's one thing to let your emotions be a detriment to your team. And if you get in a situation where you get in a shouting fest with a player, or you maybe get into a little bit of an altercation, that can negatively impact your team, leads to fouls, leads to bad morale. And so the fact that the Knights leader is really able to shut that down that quickly speaks volumes.
Absolutely. And a good shot put up once again by Jordan Lewis, able to extend the lead of the Cougars.
Clearly, Averett thought to themselves, we need to get Lewis more involved in the second half, and they've done a good job at doing so.
A little bit of ball mishandling there by a couple of Knights. Baker out wide to Green, who will drive in and find the net.
Baker kind of got bailed out there, too. He jumped up before he knew where he was going with the ball, and fortunately, Green was able to find a way to get open.
Looked like a couple of Knight miscues on that last possession, but they were able to get it figured out.
Good job by Sellers to make Karchner jump first.
And Karchner came down with that ball, but heavy pressure on him when he did.
Got knocked out of his hands, but it goes out of bounds. So the Knights, we talked about physicality coming out of halftime. The Knights are doing just that defensively right there. You saw Karchner, even though he bit on the pump fake, able to come down and still play some aggressive defense on the shot from Sellers.
Karchner now once more into Olsen. Look to put it up. And that'll roll in and out. But Olsen will now have the opportunity to come to the line.
Earlier in the game, I mentioned how much, and I say this all the time, I love Olsen's shot, and I love it for two reasons. One, it's just incredibly smooth, and number two, he gives it a little bit of split-second hesitation at the very top. Most players, as soon as they reach the highest of their vertical, they will release right there, which is very easy to time as a defender and try to block it. But he waits just a split second, a little bit more, so that you're already jumping and on the way down by the time he releases the shot, which also leads to people swatting at you and you drawing more fouls in the process of getting to the free throw line.
And as you said, games are won and lost at the free throw line. Baker will come down with the rebound. Knights will get another opportunity to reset and put some more on the board. Baker with a good feed out to Olsen. Once again to Baker, who will take the three. But that will bounce out.
Another offensive rebound for Southern Virginia, and it leads to points.
Karchner with some great work off the board there. Able to put that one up through a couple defenders.
There's just a different energy right now for Southern Virginia at this point of the game compared to the last half of the previous period of play. Southern Virginia just has more energy. They're fighting for rebounds more. Good kick out there.
Shot clock winding down on the Cougars.
He has to put it up. Trying to draw the foul, and it's knocked out. And since it didn't hit the rim, shot clock violation there. Great defense from Southern Virginia. You know, you can get hyped about a three-point shot. You can get hyped about a dunk. One of the things that a bench will get most excited about is when you force a shot clock violation, because it shows you were an impenetrable wall defensively.
Oh, and if you took a look at the Southern Virginia University players coming off of the court, I have not seen them nearly so hyped all afternoon long.
Again, it's one of those things where as a coach, I mentioned you love seeing these highlight plays, but forcing a team to get a shot clock violation is one of the most satisfying things as a defense, because I'm going to be blunt with you, no one likes playing defense. Defense is the most exhausting thing you can do in basketball, and so when you can play defense for 20 seconds and force a team to not have a single shot that touches the rim, man, that's satisfying.
Look, I'll be honest with you. I have never played very good basketball. And so I can't shoot the ball for hardly anything. So defense was always my favorite because it's all I could do.
And see, me, I was always an offensive player, so when I went up against a defense like that, it made me incredibly frustrated. And so on the flip side, I know that the defense is very satisfied with themselves and they pull that off. So again, it goes back down to the physicality we were talking about. Defense is all about effort and physicality. In Southern Virginia, I don't know what words Coach Bevel said to them at halftime, but it's got them fired up right now.
Well, part of it is, and part of why you get so excited about the shot clock violation is it means that you've disrupted the entire game plan. You've disrupted their entire flow. You've discombobulated the team to the point where they no longer have the presence of mind to, number one, know when to get the ball off, and number two, to get it to the rim soon enough in order to avoid that.
Good jumper.
It's a good rebound by Weiland here.
Again, offensive rebounds. Great feed inside.
And easily put up by Karcher. Not a problem for him there. Green providing pressure on Lewis. Take the pass out wide.
Olsen giving a sort of tentative double team there, but Sellers still to fight through.
And Sellers, once again, so strong, leading the Cougars in points so far this afternoon.
Indeed, he has 14 so far today. Leads both sides in that category.
Always one to put up an exciting play. And you'll see him go up and get those points, whether there's 1, 2, or even 3 players surrounding him.
Green nearly got in there for the steal.
And that's Jem Lawrence wide open. Had every moment in the world to make that shot.
Great
Karcher
feed inside again.
Fumbled by Olsen. He'll dive on it.
Calling the timeout. I mean, you obviously don't want to spend too many timeouts, but in that situation, you know, it's a very pivotal moment in the game. You just gave back the lead to Averett. You know, they're starting to hit their shots from the outside. And so you recognize, okay, we got to save this possession, make sure we get as much as we can out of it. And Olsen just heads up play, calling a timeout there.
Absolutely. And the Knights just barely overtaking Averett University in the category of rebounds. And of course, with not that much height differential, winning the rebound battle means you are winning in physicality.
Yes, every single time, because again, I mentioned before that you can be 6'6" up to 7 foot tall, but if you are not aggressive and you do not put in the effort to rebound, you won't rebound. You know, I've seen games where I remember I played against a team in high school where the opposing team had a 7-foot post player and was very intimidating, but we had a defender who was just under 6 foot tall, who put all of his muscle into him and limited him to only 6 rebounds in that game. 7 feet tall. And a lot of it came down to effort and physicality. If you're willing to put your body in there, you put yourself in good position, and if you play it smart, you can win the rebound battle. And again, sometimes harder than others because you have players like Sellers, who, of course, has that great physicality and the great strength. But, again, a lot of it just comes down to effort, and we've seen Southern Virginia put in that effort in this second half. We talk about the offensive rebounds. They're leading in that category now 9-7, and that's given them a chance to get them back into a lead. They've lost it since, but they've now been in a situation where they can take it back real quickly.
Absolutely, and as we return, can I tell you what I'm excited about here? As we see Cole Baker pass it out to Phil Harris, out to Green. I'm excited to see what Phil Harris is going to do moving forward towards the end of this game. Olsen tries to put that up, will reclaim it for himself as it's batted away.
And Olsen went up against 4 defenders that time, surrounding him in that situation, and able to get his own offensive rebound.
Just absolutely determined and driven to get anything out of that play.
And, you know, he's a little frustrated. He didn't get the offensive production he would have liked to see from himself in the first game of the year against Eastern Mennonite. And so putting up the shots that he has and getting to the free throw line, it's fighting through that frustration.
And he will sink that one with ease. Seeming to settle here just a bit.
So you get a free throw here, you can bring it back within 2. And indeed he does.
Flawless on those. Didn't hardly have to put any thought into that whatsoever. Just let the muscle memory take over.
And now that Karchner has been sub out for Southern Virginia, you'll see Olsen take primary duty of defending Sellers, which Olsen at times struggled defending against Sellers as far as getting positioning defensively.
We've got a Cougar sliding across the floor.
Yeah, they're saying that DeVore tripped him with his leg, stuck his leg out to try to slow him down. Happened a little fast for us to notice. But that's happened a couple times now today.
But, of course, no shot opportunity going on there, and they'll just be able to push the ball in once more, looking for a player. And get that big body in there.
What a spin move. Shoemate fooling 2 defenders and drawing the foul.
See, and that is the benefit of not only having those big, tall players on your team, but players that are willing to use it, willing to put their bodies on the line, go to toe-to-toe with those defenders.
And the agility to weave in between 2 defenders, and right now that puts Olsen at 3 fouls, puts him in foul trouble, which is not what you want right now as a guy who provides such quality minutes defensively and in the rebounding battle.
And so he'll extend that to a 3-point play now. Shoemate will. Phil Harris out wide, and now we've got Olsen on the inside once more. He'll attempt to put it up. Seems a foul is called.
And again, I mentioned before how that split-second hesitation for Olsen's shot allows it to where he can release and someone's swinging down already on his arm. Now, it looks like it may have been a light foul. Shoemate maybe grazed him just a little bit in comparison to some harder fouls, and Shoemate, reacting to that, did not feel like he had fouled him. But, again, the way Olsen shoots the ball allows for fouls to be called against his defenders more and more often.
Well, and you're always happy to come to the line. It gives you an opportunity to get points. It gives your guys an opportunity to take a breath.
As coaches say, it's free points. Getting to the free throw line, it should be free points. And they get those free points right there.
And Leafman will come back on in favor of DeVore.
Yeah, and Leafson, we mentioned in the first half, having 2 3-pointers. And so if you're in a situation where you're down by only 3 points and you can get him some open shots, this could be optimal for Southern Virginia.
Get your shooter out there. Why not? And the big body of Shoemate coming in once more. This time not quite as effective.
Jem Lawrence able to fly in there for the offensive rebound and putback.
But Shoemate showing that he is a force to be reckoned with down in the paint. Phil Harris, good little handles there.
What a pass to Olsen. Able to draw the defender and able to wrap around the defender's body with the pass.
Well, absolutely. Firstly, threw him off balance with the quick little crossover. And as the defender was trying to recover, threw that ball right around him. Nothing he could do.
Indeed, that is very, very true. And again, getting Olsen to the line once again.
And Olsen starting to feel right at home here on the line. He says, look, if you're going to put me here every minute and a half, I'm happy to be here.
Exactly. That's absolutely true.
I'll just keep putting 2 on the board. And soon enough, it's going to put us right on past you.
I mean, every time a player is fouled on a shooting foul, you have to think to yourself, all right, they're just allowing me to pad my stats. At this point, that's how confident you need to be in your free throw shooting ability, and that's exactly where Olsen is at right now. I mean, looking at his free throw percentage right now, 6 of 7, 85.7%.
And Olsen now off, Karchner back on. Defending against Sellers. Sellers with a strong move, attempting to post up here.
Love the strong rebound from Karchner. That's exactly what they needed with Olsen coming off the floor.
Green distributing out to Karchner, into Baker. Was double teamed.
They're going to say that Baker had moved his pivot foot on that post move in the middle of the paint, which I think that's accurate.
Did slide about 5 to 6 inches there.
I would have liked to have seen Karchner take that mid-range jumper on the right side. He did enter it into Cole Baker, who is very good at finishing against contact. So I understand the rationale there, but Karchner has a good mid-range jumper. And if he's able to knock that down, it's a more open shot than Baker had at the time. And so again, recognize your open shots and taking them as they come. That's, again, I would just like to see more of that.
Absolutely. We've seen a number of times with different night athletes getting down into the paint and then finding some sort of determination to put the ball up themselves when the Cougars will start forming a double team, even a triple team on them.
Yeah, and that's one thing too is that, you mentioned Averett defenders really crashing down. Coaches always say when you have multiple defenders getting on you, somebody's open.
Absolutely.
So you got to look around, and that's really difficult to do when you're in the paint. You're so close to the basket. You just want to go up strong, draw the foul, and get the basket in. And that's, that's when we talk about being aggressive and getting to the free throw line. But at the same time, you have to have the awareness to know, hey, somebody's open. Where are they at? Quickly glance around, find them for the open shot.
Absolutely. And I guess the thought is, I'm right here.
Yeah.
I'm so close to this basket. I might as well just put it up.
Every player's been there. It's a very tempting thing, like, oh, well, maybe there's a couple defenders on me, but look, I'm right here. But again, a lot of coaches emphasize quality over, quality shots is what's important. If you find someone wide open, you're going to want that more than someone who's draped by a defender.
Right, and if you've got your 3 different players on you, triple teaming you, chances are, you've got your wings out there wide open for a 3.
And Sellers, again, proving why he's such a force in the paint. Just great finishing moves.
Harris now with the ball once more, feeds it to Green. Into Baker.
Good pump fake.
Cougars will get a hand on it, but ultimately Baker will come down with it, able to put that up for 2.
Able to get Sellers to leave his feet.
You always feel good about that kind of a moment. Leifson with the strong defense.
Posting up here is Sellers. He's going to try to work against Karchner again. He's going to try to work baseline.
Putting a strong move on him.
I think what the Knights are trying to do here is that they're recognizing that Sellers likes to go baseline, try to go up and underneath, and he's been really successful at finishing those shots. But what I think they're wanting to do is have the backside defender like Cole Baker in that instance, get into that spot. To maybe, you can't really draw a charge there because there's a circle there, but at least make it to where it's a more difficult shot.
Absolutely. You cannot let him, number one, play to that baseline shot like he desires. You can't let him take anything easy.
Nearly hitting that wild shot on the foul. Green is just a little frustrated. I think he said that somebody had crossed paths with him, making it difficult for him to play defense there. That's 3 for Green.
But Green will stay on, at least for the time being.
You see Olsen coming to the scores table here to check in.
Or rather, now it seems that Green is coming off for a substitution. He'll stand right here on the sideline until that's allowed for him. And now he will come off, and Olsen on as that shot is made.
So now what we're seeing is great coaching from both sides right now. The Knights recognizing that Sellers, although Karchner is working his tail off trying to defend him, he's still getting the best of him. So they're subbing in Kai Olsen. And so in return, Averett is subbing in, Zach Shoemate, who is a threat at the post as well. Just great coaching back and forth going on right now.
A lot of big boys on the court right now.
That's very, very true.
Be interesting to see who gets this glass cleaning advantage moving forward with this set out.
Oh,
and
disaster play for Harris.
And turned away by Olsen.
I think
referees will be out on the court.
They're going to say before that Phil Harris had gotten a hand on him, but Olsen, flying in there for what would have been a stellar block. I mean,
absolute denial.
Olsen is about as much of a high flyer as Southern Virginia has on their roster. He had a block against Eastern Mennonite, a straight-up rejection on this right side of the floor. But with that, Shoemate goes to the free throw line.
And that first shot will be turned away at the rim.
And a lot of that came from a really confusing play. We hadn't seen Phil Harris get really scrambled mentally so far, again, in the early goings of this season. But that time, he had made a move, gotten some clearance, and then the ball just kind of escaped his hand, and he had to go and grab it, then threw it right to Averett.
Of course, Harris now off of the court. Feed from Green to Karchner. Back out to Green.
Good double off the screen.
Olsen for the three. Will put that up, but it will sail wide.
So that'll stay here with a jump ball. Great effort there from Baker to retain possession. And that's another situation. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but you saw Karchner take a three in the first half, missed it. He's capable of that. Olsen also very capable of hitting a three. So I'm not mad about that shot, even though it missed as widely as it did. Because again, I want to see Olsen take more chances.
Well, and throughout the field there, Olsen, of course, perhaps the most open of any of the players at that moment. So I do think it was certainly a good idea. Karchner put that up.
With the foul.
See if he can complete the and one here.
And that was a great look from Baker and Karchner. Karchner able to lay it off the glass in front of the rim. And with the contact as well. And that's exactly what you need. Because Averett has done a great job at being frustrating to inbound the ball against. I mean, they've really done a great job of denying the entry pass. But that time, Karchner just able to get good positioning.
And I believe Karchner now in double digits in scoring.
Indeed, you are correct. He is now at 11 points on the day, tied with Malachi Olsen. So the post players for Southern Virginia doing the majority of their scoring so far today.
Jordan Lewis into Sellers. Now to Shoemate. The good spin, and he'll put that up. Not enough on it. It'll catch the rim.
I'm surprised there wasn't a foul at all called. Not necessarily an offensive foul, but any kind of foul.
A couple of bodies hit the floor.
Yeah, Baker's especially.
Weiland now to Olsen once more. Out to Baker with a strong drive in.
Baker hitting the floor once again and no whistle blown. Averett.
Very physical play. Baker with the rebound will try to drive down all alone.
Going against Shoemate. They got to call an offensive foul on Baker.
And Shoemate had been planted there for a couple of seconds prior to taking the contact.
That is three back-to-back possessions where Baker is playing physical, ends up on the floor. None of those calls going his way. Two of them were no calls either side. That time being an offensive foul. He's trying to Euro step around the charge that Shoemate was trying to take.
Listen, Shoemate perhaps learning from a few of the calls from earlier where the charge was not called. Decided he needed to plant a little bit sooner. Made that a little bit more clear.
And he did. He set up his feet pretty early on. No foul called there either, even though there was an extension of the arm from Shoemate.
It looked like a full push-off to me, but
No, I agree. That's a completely missed call. Shoemate was driving to the basket. You can make some contact as an offensive player. You have the right to that space. But once you extend your arm, that's when the whistle should be blown, at least in one direction or the other.
And now it'll be Lewis once more driving in. A lot of contact on the play. Looks like the foul will be called.
Karchner had gotten his hand in there and knocked the ball away. I think they're saying the whistle was after that happened.
Well, they will be calling a fourth foul on DJ Green.
Indeed, so now in serious foul trouble. So plenty of calls not going Southern Virginia's way right now, and that's one of those things where, you know, Green's pleading his case against the ref, trying to let him know what he was doing defensively. And as a defender, you can be playing aggressive defense, but if calls aren't going your way, it's very easy to let your emotions get the best of you, maybe play a little too aggressive. It's like, you know what, okay, that wasn't working, maybe I try a little harder, maybe just getting angry.
Karchner coming down with it now. Out to Baker. And I'm sure that's not the last we'll see of Green, but he'll need a moment to settle.
You know, he's shown, let's say, on the floor with Shaw, but, you know, in that situation, Green has shown he's a capable scorer. He had 6 points in the first half, 2 in the second half, I believe. And so if they need him for his scoring ability later on, we wouldn't probably see him until the last 2 minutes or so, just because they want to make sure that he doesn't foul out here. In fact, there's a very good chance we might not see him for the rest of the game at all, depending on how the rest of the game goes.
That is a very real possibility. Of course, they love to have Green on the court. Definitely a big part of this squad. Karchner able to make both of those free throws.
And Karchner leading the way now at 13 points for Southern Virginia. And again, he had 13 points in that first half against Eastern Mennonite, once again being one leading scorers for the Knights.
And that'll be Jamison Graves looking to come up and shoot once more, but the contact will result in another foul.
And that's
against Malachi Olson.
Yeah, they're calling on Olson, which is kind of surprising to me. I figured if anybody, it'd be against Phil Harris because he was right there. And so now Olson and Green with 4 fouls apiece and getting into that foul trouble that I talked about early on that Averett was going to try to get Southern Virginia into.
Well, they have certainly done that. Now 2 of Southern Virginia University starters, 1 foul away from fouling out of the game. And that one will miss, and now Baker will bring it up the court. Good move there out of him to the rim, and 2 more for Baker.
Exactly what they needed from him at that moment, driving to the basket. We've seen very little of that today because Averett's been so good at denying that.
Well, such strong, big bodies in the post for Averett. Sellers going up once more, brought down by Karchner.
That was a good spin move from Sellers, not able to finish.
Baker looking to put on a move. Will feed out to Karchner at the 3. Now to Harris. Distributes to Baker once more.
Averett doing a great job of hedging those screens, really causing some chaos.
Karchner from 3. And that will bounce out, brought down by DeVore, but stolen away.
Yeah, Graves doing a great job getting in there and taking away some momentum for Southern Virginia that they would have definitely had from that completed offensive rebound.
Score is all tied up. Push from Sellers here. The double team. Push from Sellers against DeVore, who had arms on either side of him.
I love that DeVore came down and helped Karchner on defense there because as much as Karchner's trying, again, it's been a struggle to defend Sellers all game long.
And it looks like they will call the foul against DeVore.
Fortunately, only his second, so he has plenty of room to play aggressive defense for the rest of this game.
And I think perhaps Sellers saw those arms up and said, well, if I can't get a proper shot up, maybe I'll just go accept the contact, draw the foul. And as we have this timeout, we'll take another moment to thank our sponsors. Quick thank you to River Crossing Apartments, Straws, Drinks, and Eats, who will be having another fun Friday coming up. Mill Creek Orthodontics, Cornerstone Bank, Papa John's, locally owned and operated. Vinyl Cuts, Katana Sushi and Hibachi Express, The Beeve Sweet Souvenirs, and Grace Automotive, where SVU students and staff can receive 10% off their vehicle maintenance needs.
I mean, I tell you what, after the stressful game it's been so far for both these squads, I would be very tempted to drop by Straws, Drinks, and Eats after this one and get my good old classic Dr. Pepper with cherry, vanilla, lime, and a little bit of almond cream. You know, kind of, I mean, it's sugar, so it's not going to calm you down or anything, but it's calming to me in a sense.
Absolutely. Now, I usually, at least as of late, when I go to Straws, I actually order something that's not on their menu. I get myself a Coke with banana and vanilla flavoring.
Interesting.
And that's what they say, too, every time. They give me this strange look. And I tell them, look, it's delicious. I don't know what you want from me. I get a little almond cream in there. Sellers up for a free throw. And that'll come off. Rebound here. Karchner will come up with it. Harris driving down.
The Knight bench telling them to slow it down, run through the offense. You don't want to go too fast or faster than you're able and then cause a dumb turnover that changes the tide of momentum.
Reminder here, the Knights have tied it up 57-57.
Fortunately, the ball was tipped. They got to get a shot off.
Up by Weiland. A bounce off the rim there.
I think they called the foul that time on Shaw. I think that's his fourth. They're saying he grabbed his shoulder and brought him down. That's actually 5 for Shaw.
And so, if that is the 5th one for Shaw, he will need to come off the court here.
Indeed,
yes.
That is 5.
And so he will come and be out of the game.
And you saw in that moment right there where Southern Virginia gets the defensive rebound, Averett is able to force Southern Virginia to take a shot they don't want to take, a highly contested three-pointer on the outside from Weiland, who hasn't necessarily found his shot today, but fortunately for Southern Virginia, able to fight and get those rebounds, especially with DeVore now at the free throw line because of the bonus.
Because Weiland has struggled from the outside and from field goal range. DeVore put that down without any issue, making good on the foul called there.
And again, that's clutch from the freshman here in a tightly contested game, just over 6 minutes to go, getting the chance to take the lead and capitalizing.
And that one will come down, rebounded by Jim Lawrence. Brought up now by Lewis. Calling a play for his boys out there in the field. Push it out wide, up top once more for Lawrence and Lewis again. Shot clock winding down, 5 seconds left. 3 from out wide.
Another great rebound from Karchner.
Karchner starting to rack up the rebounds with a little bit more frequency here towards the end of this second half.
And not only that, getting rebounds in critical moments.
DeVore with the 3, puts it up. Bounced back with the rebound from Baker, who will put it back for 2.
Once again, rebounds saving Southern Virginia. Again, we talked about key of the second half, be more physical in the rebound game, and that is exactly what is putting them in this situation in the first place.
Southern Virginia now leads 60-57. Settlers wanted to go up from that baseline once more. Turned away. That is a 5th foul.
That's on DeVore, his 3rd, fortunately for him. But he was going up with it with his hands, so it'll be 2 shots.
My apologies on that. We had the previous foul still displayed on the scoreboard. And Sellers will put that down, no problem. Closes the gap. Now a score differential of 2.
We're seeing a new substitution for Averett. Number 3, Clay Hodges. We haven't seen him today. And now what's interesting is that a lot of times in these situations, coaches will put in players that they know can hit free throws, or even worse yet, can hit three-point shots on the outside. And so obviously, head coach David Doino must have a lot of confidence in Hodges to be able to pull this off. But of course, he's also kind of had his hand forced with the foul out of Bryce Shaw.
Yes, and now after that second free throw sunk by Sellers, just a 1-point difference. Ball kicked by Baker.
And again, that's just running faster than sometimes your brain can think. And that's happened twice now for Southern Virginia, very similar plays.
Graves can't bring the three down. DeVore with his arm straight in the air. Lawrence will fall to the ground.
Yeah, I'd say give an Oscar award for that one. That was a little bit of acting right there. Barely got touched, and smart basketball play to try to draw the foul and get your team to the free throw line.
I am really unsure as to what he wanted us to see. DeVore was not moving. He flew backwards and down, but here he is standing at the free throw line and misses his first opportunity here.
There's a saying in basketball, and I'm not going to say whether or not it fully accurately applies here, but the phrase is the ball don't lie. And so, again, I feel like there was a little bit of acting there on that foul call on DeVore. And right there, ball doesn't lie.
Ball does not lie, and the Knights fans erupt in cheers. They didn't feel like, while he may have earned the Oscar, did not feel like he earned the points.
I like the idea from Harris there. I like the idea. Now the only issue is that, DeVore, he's now on the bench now. He has 4 fouls. But now you're only up by 1, and every possession counts. And when you try to have it pass like that, it's a good idea, and there was an opening there. But I don't know, taking a chance like that when all these possessions count, every split second counts. I feel like there could have been a better play made there.
Some good moves there out of Jordan Lewis, but brought down by Knight. Baker moving it forward.
What an athletic rebound from Karchner, flying in there.
Baker tosses that one up, draws the foul. It's Tyler Karchner approaching his 10th rebound now. I think it's a total of 8 thus far. Looking to complete another double-double tonight. He told me that he would.
Trying to make good on his promises here, and again, having the clutch rebounds that he's had over the past couple possessions, he very could easily get there.
And Baker sinks another.
And that puts him at 12 points today, along with 6 rebounds. So again, very similar to against Eastern Mennonite, we saw a tale of two halves where maybe Baker and Karchner did not really have the best half in the first half of this one, but this second half they really come in clutch, made a couple of great plays.
And Baker once more able to sink the second free.
I would love to see the amount of hours that Baker worked on free throws in the offseason. He was a pretty efficient free throw shooter a season ago, but I feel like he's just so much more confidence at the line this year.
Looks almost effortless up there.
Because again, a lot of his play style requires that, an easy dribble drive there for Hodges.
And there's Hodges, who you had projected to perhaps be their free throw or three-point specialist, driving in there to the rim.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just have a guy that has a quick dribble drive, and again, maybe in my own words a little bit. The trend still stands. I'll stand by my statement. But again, great play there, and I think also a little bit of, you had Leafson there kind of underestimating Hodges there on the outside and allowing him to have that good first step. And especially in a situation like this, when we're only up by 1, 3.5 minutes left, you got to be very careful, and you got to make sure that you're not dragging your feet defensively, as they say.
Well, and as we come to the close of this match, very similar score to the previous matchup. Yep. We are now in the final 4 minutes of play. I am absolutely certain that the Cougars would love a repeat performance of last year's match where they could shut the Knights out for the final 4 minutes.
I mean, right now we're sitting at just 1 point more than both teams had total combined in this one, as last time was Averett 62, Southern Virginia 60. Right now 62-61 in favor of Southern Virginia. We still have another 3.5 minutes left.
We absolutely do. So let's see what Coach Duino is able to come up with in these last 3.5 minutes.
We have Green come back on the floor for Southern Virginia. Again, he's in foul trouble with 4 fouls. And you also have Weiland come back on, so really relying on his defensive prowess. And so I'm interested to see what they drop here, because again, Green, I mentioned how earlier in the game he was in a rhythm scoring-wise, knocking down a couple of jump shots. So maybe they're going to hope that they can rely on that a little bit, as Southern Virginia is going to inbound it here.
But I think, too, this speaks to Coach Bevel's trust in Weiland, even though he might not have had the best performance thus far in this game. He still believes in him and wants to show him that he believes in him.
Well, absolutely. I mean, Weiland, again, is one of those players that coaches can't help but love. Even if he doesn't necessarily score a lot of points or knock down a lot of shots, he's doing what he can defensively to take care of business, and we see another foul called on Averett.
That appeared to be a little bit of a push in the back out of Jordan Lewis here.
And we're also going to see Olsen check into the game here. He also has 4 fouls.
All hands on deck here.
Again, in the last couple of minutes, it doesn't matter how many fouls you have. If you're of use, well, I mean, of course, unless you have 5, then you can't play. But if you're of use and you're going to provide quality minutes, just put them out there and see what happens.
And Baker once again dropping the bucket.
So now we have both forwards for Southern Virginia on the floor in a time where getting rebounds is essential. I love this call. I love this rotation you have here on the floor, because you're prioritizing the boards.
So smooth, so effortless out of Baker.
Again, just great work at the free throw line. Now, if you're Southern Virginia, nothing easy. Baker got his foot on that one. That's one of those plays where I'm torn on whether or not I agree that, you know, hitting the ball with your leg should be, you know, called a foul, or not a foul, but it is grounds for stopping the game. Because, like, when you put your leg there, it's good reaction. I don't know. That's one thing I'm always torn about.
You know, it is what it is, and I imagine it's going to continue to be called that way for quite some time. Karchner comes down with another rebound.
Karchner with 9 now. Again, not much closer to the double-double he promised you.
Look, he's a man of his word. Green will go up, drop that one in, and draw the foul.
Again, that's why you put him in these last couple minutes, even if he has 4 fouls. His scoring capability, he's able to make some moves down low. He's able to create some open shots from on the outside and able to knock down the tough shot with contact there.
Such a good athlete. And so very aware of the situation the Knights find themselves in.
And Green now the 4th player for Southern Virginia to score in double digits. You have Green with 10, pending this free throw. Make it 11. They have Malachi Olsen with 11, Karchner with 13, and Baker with 15.
Well, and once again, even though early on the Knights didn't find themselves at the free throw line that often, their free throw shooting percentage has been excellent.
It absolutely has, and they've really changed the script. I call it block here, but they've really flipped the script free throw-wise. Again, we mentioned coming out of the half, Southern Virginia had only attempted 6 free throws at half. They now have a total of 26 in this game.
A couple of players above 87% on their free throw percentage, and we've got a couple of players, especially, namely Tyler Karchner, sitting at 100% at the line.
I mean, again, as a coach like Trace Bevel, who has got a lot more old school approaches to it and very traditional as far as like prioritization of rebounding and free throws. That's what happens when you prioritize those small, what you think of as a small thing. Those small things go a long way. Now we're seeing some full court pressure here from Averett.
Graves will put that second shot in. Heavy pressure onto Green. Seeing Perhaps if he can't get Green to get that 5th foul. Out to DeVore and Baker. Will find himself.
Shot clock winding down.
5 seconds.
Got to get up a shot.
That'll go up. And at the very least, bounce off of the rim. DeVore will put it back and drop that for 2 more.
The freshman once again coming in clutch, getting the offensive board. Could have probably put it right back up, but instead fights hard for the offensive rebound with the easy layup. Well, easy. I say that with quotations.
DeVore has been having a great game for himself out here today. That'll go up from Lewis.
Rebounded by Harris, of all people.
Green now driving down the court. Karchner waiting in the paint. Up high to him, and he'll put that up. No issue. 2 defenders in his face. After the fact,
they're going to call a technical here.
Lawrence will hit the ground. I believe the technical foul is due to the fact that as Karchner came down, he looked in the face of Lawrence, and Lawrence, locking eyes with him, dropped to the floor, drawing the foul.
Well, what the ref is saying here is that Karchner, I guess, had extended his arm and trying to run back down the floor. A little bit of a shove is what they're saying. He's explaining it to Coach Trace Bevel now.
I am not sure how I feel about that call.
Now, personally, I didn't see exactly what happened after the fact. I was too busy fist pumping the air because of the great play that was made between Green and Karchner. And the free throw missed here from Lewis. Again, we talk about ball don't lie, but I don't know. I'm not going to say that in this situation just because, again, I didn't see exactly what the ref saw.
I believe I saw some contact, but it was as Karchner brought his arms up in celebration. That being said, celebrating with his eyes locked dead in on another Cougar player.
I do love what I saw from the Knights 5 on the floor as they huddled together with Coach Bevel. You know, Karchner looked at his players or his teammates and saying, hey, we got this, let's go. Just a lot of energy. Even though the call was against you, there's a lot of positive energy for them right now, a lot of good communication. They're talking.
Coming into the final minute of play here now. Good move by Graves up to the basket. That'll drop for 2 more. Graves certainly excited about his work.
Now, Averett, the past couple minutes, has been trying to execute this play that has been really effective in creating space, causing defenders to be out of position, is where you'll have Graves on the left side. He'll pass it off. He'll have 2 screens set at the top of the key so he can go over top of them, get the ball and try to dribble baseline, and it worked to perfection that time.
That it did. Graves had very little issue finding his way up there, even with a couple of Knights right down there in the paint. Graves found himself an easy lane, out and around.
Yeah, and right now with Averett down by 4 points, under a minute to go, you'll probably start to see some fouls here. They're going to try to reach in, send you to the free throw line, but we mentioned before, Southern Virginia's excellent free throw percentage. So if you're Southern Virginia, you're trying to inbound it to one of basically everybody on the floor right now for Southern Virginia is an excellent free throw shooter. So honestly, anyone you get it to will be a good choice, and that's the benefit of being a consistently good free throw shooting team. So you have, of course, Baker, Green, Harris, Karchner, and DeVore inbounding it for Southern Virginia.
For those at home that are wanting to know the team overall free throw percentage, the Knights are currently sitting at 88.5% from the line.
Beautiful. It's a thing of beauty. I love to see it.
Baker, getting full press, just tosses it up to Karchner. Will put it up and get his own rebound.
They're going to say foul on the floor here, but Baker able to get bailed out by Karchner just being wide open on this side of the floor.
Now, are they calling that before or after the rebound takes place?
I'm not sure exactly when they're saying that happened, but because of the double bonus, he's going to get a chance to shoot 2 here.
Karchner, excellent from the line thus far. Continues the Knight hot streak and his own.
And again, the Knights do not have this lead or this momentum to possibly finish up this game without the consistent free throw shooting. I will preach it till the cows come home, as they used to say in the olden days. If you don't practice your free throws, you're not going to win games. That's just how it is, plain and simple.
Let them say it in the olden days. Let them say it today. I like it. Karchner still perfect from the line today. And a big shot up from the outside from Lewis. Missed. Green will come down the court with the ball.
He's got to slow it down.
Couple of Cougars on him. Batted away.
Coach Bevel wanted Karchner to come up and provide help. And right now, if you're Southern Virginia, the clock is your friend. And I love the fact that DJ Green, he got the ball, saw he didn't have numbers, slowed down, trying to make sure they try to maintain possession, and then eventually draws the foul to get to the free throw line.
20.5 seconds left. A 6-point differential in favor of the Knights. Green at the line. And he will sink the first one with ease. The Knights automatic from the line all afternoon.
I can't tell you how many years past I've watched different teams struggle from free throw line and then basically suffer because of it. This is the exact opposite of the case. It's honestly a beautiful thing to watch. I'm moved to tears, Nick. That's exactly what's going on here.
Let him flow. Let him flow, Dawson. Lawrence from 3, and he sinks that. Nothing but net. Looks to tighten the score, give the Cougars a shot.
Hey, that's exactly what they needed right there. Only 14 seconds, so you're going to see a quick foul. Southern Virginia's going to have a hard time inbounding it. I mean, they've struggled all game long. Averett's done a great job at locking it down and making things complicated. But you got to have your best inbound play called right now. Plenty of screens. Make sure you get it to either Baker or DJ Green. Again, both of them have been knocking down free throws. And then nothing silly.
Certainly a tall order for the Cougars if they're going to turn this thing around. They've got to get 6 points down in the next 14 seconds if they're going to come away with the win in regulation time.
And essentially all their points are either going to have to be three-point plays, get either a two-point shot or a foul called, or a three-point shot. And their three-point percentage is 28.6 today, which isn't great. But, I mean, compared to Southern Virginia's numbers today, it's not too shabby. Southern Virginia shooting only 11.8% from 3. That hasn't been their forte today. That hasn't been friendly to them at all. But, again, you got a foul. And in this situation, your first thing you want, get a quick steal. You have some good athletes out there. Deny. And we're going to see DeVore inbound it once again. And, again, a lot of faith being shown in the freshman DeVore to inbound it and to inbound it securely.
And just to speak more to that, while Southern Virginia has surged excellently in the second half, 0 three-pointers made in this half.
And just exactly, they got into Green, one of two people they wanted to get into. He's also the hot hand right now from the free throw line. And that's the thing, too, is that you can have players that shoot really well, but if you have a player that's gotten to the free throw line often and is hitting it consistently, that's one of the main players you want to get it to because they're in a rhythm.
And that is absolutely true. Green is 3 for 3. Make that 4 for 4 from the line.
And then Jake Wilson will come on the floor here. He's seen the floor a couple of times tonight because of the early foul trouble that Kai Olsen got into in the first half.
When you love to have a big body down there to get the rebounds back, can maintain possession. That one sinks as well. They'll drive up quickly. Lewis will look to score, and that'll just tumble out of his hands as he comes into the paint.
I think Harris just poked his hand in there and very carefully making sure he doesn't draw the foul call.
And now less than 6 seconds left. 7-point differential.
At this point, Averett needs a miracle.
That they do. Wide to Lawrence. He'll put it up once more. That one will sail over the rim.
Jake Wilson, I love the fact that Wilson got that final rebound. That is absolutely amazing to see that.
We certainly do love to see it. We love to see these Knight players come out and play this hard, especially the way they did in that second half of play. Just immense physicality.
Yes. And again, getting to the free throw line. And this team is going to live and die depending on how often they get to the free throw line, because dang it, they knock it down. They knock it down consistently. And again, we mentioned only 6 free throw attempts in that first half, and they were down as a result. Not by much, but they were down as a result.
And as you said, live and die by that free throw line, ending this game at a percentage of 90.6%.
Now, I do have to ask you something, Nick. Karchner, according to the stats we have here, was 1 rebound off, so does he owe you anything based on the conversation you had with him?
I'll have to go talk to him about it. Maybe I'll let him off easy. I don't know. He put up an excellent game otherwise.
I mean, when you shoot as well from the free throw line as he did, you could probably give him a little bit of a break, I'd assume.
I'll say, look, I'll let you go this time, but next game you have to lock it in for me.
I love it. I love it. But again, we mentioned Tyler Karchner, 17 points, 9 rebounds. Baker, 15 points, 6 rebounds. DJ Green ended with 15 points and 6 rebounds as well. Olsen, 11 points and 6 rebounds. You have 4 of your 5 starters scoring in double digits, providing great relief on the boards. And against a team that historically, they were 3-1 against them going into this one in their history. Now getting a win over them, starting off 2-0. That's a great start if you're a Knight fan.
It's a beautiful day here in Buena Vista.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it.
Now, make sure to tune in with us next time when the Knights take on Ferrum College at Ferrum College, Tuesday, November 14th at 7 p.m.
Absolutely. And again, just looking forward to seeing what this Knights team does this year with, the leadership they have in Kyle Olsen and, people like Baker and such. And honestly, the fact that they're not shooting well from the outside now and they're 2-0 is a little bit scary for opposing teams, because that outside shooting is only going to get better and better as the season goes on, and they're already doing the fundamentals well. It's only going to get better from here.
Oh, absolutely. The sky is the limit. These Knights, they're fun to watch. They're physical. They're getting into the paint. They're cleaning the glass. They're making it happen, and they're running the plays that they want to. When the three-point percentage turns up, there's nothing that could stop this team.
And also got to really quickly shout out the players for Averett. They really came out here and balled. Sellers, the second, had 18 points, and 5 rebounds. Really gave the Knights fits down low, as well as Graves, later on, really making an impact. And Lawrence as well from the outside. They came in here. That's a solid squad for Averett. They're going to make big things happen this year for them as well.
Well, absolutely. And at no point in this game did it feel like the Knights just ran away with it.
Right.
It was, as projected, very close through the entirety of the match.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so with that, we will thank the fans, friends, and family at home once more for joining us for this edition of NCAA Division III men's basketball. The score, 77-70 in favor of the Knights. I have been Nicholas O'Connor, joined by Dawson Wiedrich. Thank you once more, and good afternoon.
Go Knights.